It is an elemental truth of life that we are not just here by accident. We're not human by accident. We don't live on a planet that is living. We don't by accident. Our bodies are not created by chaos. We are, in fact, a living existence, or life is the recognition of thought, or the recognition of existence itself, the recognition of a choice. And it is that choice that gives us the opportunity to understand why we are here. So we have a choice given to us by thought, and a force that is given to us by movement, which is an energy called time. We can measure the distance that we travel, the distance that our lives exist, by how far we go. That's that's time, that's energy, that's distance. That's what living means. So what we understand about that is that our choice is literally to love, which means to expand beyond ourselves and accept the habitation that is, with other people, that is life and living and value and respect for them, the hope for them, which is basically the heart of a living soul. And a soul means to create the truth, or invest yourself in the truth beyond self. That is how we got here, what kind of miracle we are, and so on. So let's just examine that, and we can decide that our choice is love, or the fence, which is animal, or hate, which is death, or it isolates you down into the coffin that is your own choice, that is your own refusal to live, your own refusal to share, or care, or do anything that love requires of you. So what we understand about that is that love is our invitation into eternity, and that choice is the decision that we will make to judge ourselves in the most truthful sense of the word. We have time to judge ourselves. We are given the opportunity to change ourselves in time, by recognizing what it is that truth has created by what we chose. Or in other words, everything you choose has a consequence. So the consequence is, if you are God, and of course we are not, but if we can at least identify some participation in the potential that is His world, we would understand that love created life on earth. It's not less than that. We have far more than we actually need to just be alive. We're certainly not slaves. We get to choose what it is that we want to do. We get to choose how we live, and of course humanity has said more than once and in every single way that what they want is to be completely free and no strings attached, and so on and so on. So excuse me. So the end result of that is that the things that we do, or the fate that we live, is determined by the actual choices that we make, instead of truth decides, which is a destiny, because truth creates the future that we live in. Then there is also fate, which means that we, the people, have decided what the consequence, what our future is going to be, and created the consequences that we'll have to live with because of our choice. So the end result is, if you live in destiny, if you approach destiny, you have to let truth decide. And that means you have to go beyond self, which is the ascent into soul, or more meaningfully, I guess, it is the decision to remove want from your life, so that religion calls it humble, but it's just removing what you want, so that you let life decide what your living will be. And of course, people want what they want, or don't want, and the end result of that is fate. You chose the consequences of your life. You chose how that was going to turn out. You made the future what you made the future, and of course the future of what we face today is that people chose to create hell for themselves. They chose to create hell on earth by removing every resource and poisoning every water source and overheating the earth with everything, and destroying the oxygen supply, and just everything that they do by university leadership is a fate called hell. And of course that just is the first part of extinction, because it removes all the chains that create life and all the chains that sustain life and things like that. So your love or your identity of truth is what determines whether or not you are invited into an eternity. That is the purpose of your life here on earth. The purpose of your life here on earth is to identify and decide and judge who it is that can, in fact, join in an eternity that is based upon love. So if your love is sufficient to be invited into the eternity of God, or into the eternity of a force that forces that create this universe, and there are two primary forces. One is push, which is, you understand that, you push, that's one form, or kinetic energy, and then there's pull, which is the opposite form of that, which is basically, pushes a proton, or the energy of an atom, and pull is the neutron of the atom, which combined together balances and creates time. So we have these two forces, and one is called, push is called male, and pull is called female, and when you balance them together properly with respect for each other, the end result of that is a living form of choice. So we are balanced as our existence lives, but we also have a choice based upon whether life, the essence of nature, made you into something that would push, or made you into something that pulls. So the end result of it is, or the primary purpose of the whole thing is, to understand that we have a choice, that we are making decisions that become our eternity. And you cannot hide from your truth. You know what your truth is. You know. Nobody on earth, or perhaps even beyond, knows more about what your truth is than you do. And of course you can hide from yourself, but you cannot hide from your truth. You hide from yourself by lying about what you are, but that won't help you. You cannot win the game. Some religions say, you win, but you cannot win the game of life or death. The only choice that you have is whether to love or to hate. And if you don't make a choice to love or to hate, then you're sitting on the fence, which means that you want what you want, and that's all that you want, and you don't want anything else. And animals do not go to eternity. They are dissipated and vanish and recycled basically into something else. So that's a whole another thing. So you have to make a choice in order to live, just like you have to make a choice in order to survive. If you have to live within the means that you're given in order to survive. If you refuse to eat, for instance, you're going to die. If you refuse to drink, you're going to die. You have to make a choice to live. And of course that is true of eternity as well. You have to make a choice for love in order to be invited into an eternity. And there is no alternative to that, and there is no blaming someone else for that. You are in charge of you. It is your truth. And even though people have the option to influence you, or might even, accidentally or not accidentally cause your body to fail you, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. The end result is that you are your truth. and you have to accept whatever it is that you do, when it's time to die, you have to die, because there is no choice. Time is not eternal. You cannot be eternal in a body that's made out of time. You have to die and get rid of it in order to be eternal. So, what is eternal? That's a question of its own. And the answer to that is we don't know exactly what eternal is, because we are not eternal. We can only assume or guess, and generally speaking, that is not a good plan. It is, when you don't know, you don't know, and you must wait until you do know, so that you can make a decision from there. All we can know is that the end result of life is death, and the end result of death is an eternity, whatever you believe that might be. But no matter what you believe, truth will decide. It is truth that's going to decide what your eternity will be. No matter what. You don't get to decide. You get to present yourself as a living truth. You get to present yourself as a loving truth. You get to present yourself as hate and death. And you get to present yourself as someone who didn't make a choice. Those are your basic elements. So you need to understand that truth cannot be undone. It can, however, be covered up by the values and the purposes and the things that you do to try to correct that. Of course, if you don't correct that, if you don't try to correct that, if you don't make changes to correct that, then whatever is true for you, no matter how bad it was, it remains true for you. And of course, covering something up doesn't mean it can't be undone, but it does mean that it's called mercy, or the fact that you don't have to be condemned for your truth. You can change it, you can rearrange it, you can do the best you can, or not. And the end result of that is going to be what your eternity is going to be, or it is going to be the invitation that divides you from eternal life or eternal death, whatever that might be. Truth decides that too. But the end result is those who war with God are asking to war with God in eternity as well, and I'm sure that you're going to get your wish, even though it ain't what you want. But that's a whole different thing. So I'm trying to give you some advice, and the advice is that you need to be very, very, very careful about what is true for you. You need to be very, very careful about how you treat children. In fact, you need to be, they are important. They have a life of their own, and if you influence them improperly, that is something that you have to face as your truth. Don't do it. Try to help them, and that will correct a lot of things in your life that you did wrong later on. Try to help them, because they need it. So try to be respectful of each and every life. Try to be respectful of each and every person. Try to balance each other. Don't use each other for a game of trophies and toys and trinkets. Don't do that, as is most of the games of romance. And I understand that young women and young men both want to use their new toys. And the end result of that, of course, is that trying to see how far you can go with this, manipulating here, tempting here, all of that is part of growing up. Whether it's good or bad doesn't make any difference. It's part of growing up. So you have to try to avoid some of that at least, because the end result is what you choose is the most important part of who you are. You have to accept the fact that your choice matters. You have to accept the choice that your choice is your choice. You have to accept the fact that how you treat other people matters to both you and them. Well, a lesson in that is that my ex-wife and I I was married for 2 years, no children. So back when I was very young. So the end result, of course, was that I wanted to fight for life and world and learn and things like that. And she wanted me to be just like everybody else. And the end result is that I gave her, you can't let someone else rule your life. You have to, you know, choices I made influenced her, choices she made influenced me, and the end result of that was bad for both of us. We have to let truth decide. When you don't let truth decide, and you don't accept that respect identifies what is true in your relationship, you lose your basic element of life.